You may be asking yourself, why am I watching? Well, maybe you want the latest scoop on paranormal news. Maybe you want to see your experiences, ideas, and paranormal evidence peer-reviewed. Maybe you're just here for the laughs. Whatever the reason may be, buckle your safety belt. Sit back, relax, and chat with Justin Brown and Bill Davis on this episode of Interface Death Weekly. Hello, and welcome to Interface Death Weekly. I'm your host, Justin Brown, and it's episode 7. And we're going to bring more paranormal shenanigans once again with my co-host with the most ghosts, Bill Davis, aka Paranormal Reporter. I guess that's what he's going by these days. What's up, Bill? What's going on, buddy?
What's going on? Feeling good. Not really.
That's not. Are you lying to me? You said you weren't feeling good before the show started.
Yeah, I'm not doing so good with this vertigo thing.
Oh yeah, just a little bit of dizziness. Okay, well, at least you're sitting down, so if you pass out, you won't get too injured.
I usually pass out during the show anyway.
It's just you're on Ambien and you just don't know you're asleep. That's what happens.
Ambien, it's not the Ambien so much as I drank too much cough syrup.
I got some coffee. I might need some more. We got Missy Vastine on the call. She's going to be helping with the chat. There's no Jessica Bias tonight, so I will be trying to keep up with YouTube as much as possible. She will be MIA a lot since the softball season's starting off, but Valerie Wright decided that she would, for some reason, put herself through the torture of helping out on the shows. I'm going to give her hell. I want to make her life a living hell. No, I'm just joking. We will have fun, and it will be Good times. So, lots of news that I found paranormal related. I don't know. A lot of the news is just, let's just face it, it's kind of bullshit. But there are some interesting things. I know Bill Davis had shared an article with me that's not entirely new, but I definitely want to talk about it because it's something that I think about all the time. But before we get into it, Missy, did you want to tell me about your dream you had? Do you want to start off with story time here? See if I can get your... Whoa. I might be able to get you up on screen here. Here we go. Are you with us? We can't hear you. You must be muted.
Okay, I'm with you.
Okay.
Okay. So, what?
You had a dream, and you want to tell me about it, and you want to tell everybody watching about it. You know, everybody as in Betty Kegley, Derek Schreinder, Linda, Sandy, Valerie, General 7, A Fireball, William Antonio, Nasaba, yep, I see Gilson there, Eddie Pence, Ron A, Travis Poe. What's up? Everybody cannot wait to hear all about your dream. I'm guessing that it's strange.
It was strange.
Okay.
So, I went back to bed the other morning, and I was laying there sleeping. I guess I was sleeping. I don't know what I was doing. And I see this man, and I see like his side profile. Like I only seen half of him.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I would describe him as like a robot-esque looking creature thing. And I'm like, show me your face. And he says, you'll see the rest of me later. And I'm like, what? And then from behind me at the end of the bed, I hear, you know what you're supposed to do.
Okay.
And then I woke up because I audibly heard, you know what you're supposed to do.
Like a male voice said that?
Yeah. Yeah, like it was standing in my bedroom.
Have you been having crazy dreams lately, or is this like a...
That was the first one I've had in a long time.
First dream that you remember?
Well, I gotta go.
Yeah.
So you had a dream about Terminators coming to visit you in your sleep.
Yeah, I guess.
Cyborgs.
I guess that's what he was. He looked kind of like a cyborg, like, and I'm like, turn around so I can see the rest of your face, and he said, you'll see the rest of me later.
Okay.
And then a voice from behind me says, you know what to do. And I'm like, okay.
And that's how we open today's show, I guess. I should have asked you what the hell your dream was about before I did that.
I tried to tell you.
Censored it.
Well, it's a good thing that it wasn't even crazier than that.
Philip said sounds like a guide.
Yeah, Missy has some pretty crazy dreams. But Bill, anything new going on? Should I dare ask what's going on with your life right now?
No, just some new developments with the green screen. Finally.
Yep, you got a green screen up.
About 2 years.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
I'm expecting some kind of Russian porn to just pop up in the background at any time. Should I even give you that idea?
No, that's paid content only.
Okay.
Patreons get to watch that.
Okay. Emily says, I don't see you guys.
You know what?
Do you only hear us, Emily? You don't see us? I definitely see us. I'm guessing everybody else is seeing us. Try refreshing the page, maybe. But, yeah, my daughter, Eowyn, she will be 14 the 26th, which is Wednesday. and we're throwing her a party. Me and my wife's Christy's anniversary is the following day, but we're probably going to leave town for a couple days, get a hotel, and just peace out for a couple days for the anniversary. And then I got to finish up a documentary that's going to be out in March, and I hope it's a big deal. I hope that everybody will want to go see it. It's only going to be available on our website. It might be on Amazon Prime. I'm not sure if I want to do that yet. It depends on how well or not it does on our website, but you can rent it. I'm thinking of only making it $1.99 to rent, so $2 you can rent it for 3 days on the website. You can do a purchase, a digital purchase, to where you can go to our website and watch it as many times as you want for a couple bucks more, and it'll be available on Blu-ray. So that's the biggest news we got going on right now. Emily's here, Melissa Grubbs, Sandy Griffin, I did mention Linda. I know I seen Joe Vitale up there earlier. Do we got anybody else that's chimed in? Philip Wyatt?
Robert Veach is watching.
Robert Veach, sir, how are you? We usually have everybody that we don't see in a while chime in on the Friday shows. I guess it's because it's Friday and they have time to get on here and not have to worry about going to work or being busy. So let's just get right into the news. Let's see what the first thing we have here. Oh, did I must have had. We'll do something different right now. We'll go to this one. See what this one's all about. SETI to hunt for alien technosignatures. So I guess this recent radio signal from space has sparked SETI to ramp up their shenanigans. I guess SETI is ramping up its search for intelligent alien life by sniffing out indicators of extraterrestrial technology. Founded in Mountain View, California back in November 20th, 1984, the SETI Institute has made its mission to systematically scan the skies for evidence that we are not alone in the universe. This latest endeavor, which will use data from the Very Large Array VLA in New Mexico, plans to search for the telltale signatures of alien technology on other worlds. Such technosignatures could include certain combinations of chemicals in planets' atmosphere or signs of large structures either on the surface or in orbit. Determining whether we are alone in the universe as technologically capable life is among the most compelling questions in science, said Dr. Tony Beasley, director of Virginia's NRAO telescope. As the VLA conducts its usual scientific observations, this new system will allow for an additional and important use for the data we are already collecting. In addition to this, computer-generated simulated environments are being developed to help support future searches, and all the data collected will be made available to the public as well. Upcoming telescopes in space and on ground will have the capability to observe the atmospheres of Earth-sized planets orbiting nearby cool stars. So it's important to understand how best to recognize signs of habitability and life on these planets, said NASA's Victoria Meadows. These computer models will help us determine whether an observed planet is more or less likely to support life. So hopefully SETI can sniff us out some aliens or something. I don't know how much optimism I have for that, because let's just face it, I already think that aliens are just look up in our own sky, you know what I mean? You see aliens. I mean, it's kind of, I guess they're looking for, the smoking gun type thing, which is cool. I hope they do well. While we're going through the news, folks, feel free to submit us any video evidence, audio evidence, photos, anything that you think is anomalous or paranormal, anything news related in the paranormal to us. You can email me at justinbrown@interfacedeath.net. You can message me on the platform that you're watching the show on, that will be fine. Just let me know where to look so I can find it. But any submission would be very much appreciated. So let's move on to the next news clip. So we've got here Ghost Hunters. I will mention to you guys that I've booked not one but two cast members from the new reboot of Ghost Hunters. One's coming up next Wednesday on Necromancer, and it will be Daryl Marston, one of the team leads of Ghost Hunters. The other one's Brandon. What the crap is his name? I keep forgetting. Help me out, Missy. What the hell is this last name?
I don't know.
Let me look at my messenger. He's going to kill me if he's watching this. Brandon. Alvis. Damn, my memory sucks. Brandon Alvis. I think he's the tech lead on Ghost Hunters, and I'll be interviewing him in March. And I think March 25th to be accurate there. But I don't know how accurate this headline is. I know that they are claiming that they've got some new tech and they've captured some crazy things, but this might be clickbait. I don't know. I haven't talked to Daryl and Brandon about this, but this article that was released Wednesday 19th in February states that Ghost Hunters Season 2 promises indisputable proof. What does that exactly mean? I don't know. Season 2 of the rebooted Ghost Hunters TV show will reportedly offer up concrete evidence of the afterlife. One of the most popular paranormal TV shows to hit U.S. screens, Ghost Hunters launched all the way back in 2004 and followed plumbers Jason Hawes and Grant Wilson, two paranormal investigators who, alongside a team of fellow enthusiasts, spent their spare time looking for evidence of ghosts. Wilson left the show in 2012, and Hawes announced that the show would be ending its relationship with Sci-Fi Channel in 2016, effectively ending its 12-year run. Last year, however, the show was brought back from the dead, this time with Wilson resuming host duties. The first rebooted season ran from August 21st to October 30th, 2019 on A&E, and now has been announced that a second season will be arriving on April 8th, 2020. Interestingly, the upcoming season claims that the evidence found by the team is indisputable. So I want to know if that is an actual quote, that right there, because that is a very lofty claim. Ghost Hunters return with indisputable evidence of life after death. The press release reads, in Season 2, the team heads into uncharted territory to be the first to investigate reports of paranormal phenomena in some of the nation's most remote locations. Despite mysterious and unnerving warnings from locals, the Ghost Hunters face their fears and stay on mission to help people confront terrifying paranormal encounters that have shaken them to their core. In doing so, they capture their most compelling, persuasive evidence in over a decade. Exactly what form this is indisputable evidence will take, however, remains to be seen. And we'll go ahead. A lot of you may have seen the trailer, but we'll go ahead and play it since we were interviewing two guests.
Is anyone out there?
We're the first people to investigate here.
There have been thousands of people who have died here. We're 100 miles from the closest interstate. Emergency personnel can't be here right away. Welcome to Fort Stanton.
How many believe they've had a paranormal experience? Wow.
This new technology that we utilize, we're capturing the holy grail in paranormal research. What the hell is that? Oh, look, it just appeared again.
You gotta be careful, guys. It's a dangerous situation here.
Let's watch this area. Holy, this is the most mind-boggling thing I've ever seen.
Ghost Hunters 2-hour premiere, Wednesday, April 8th at 8 on A&E.
Hey Ghost Hunters fans, be sure to subscribe to the A&E YouTube channel for more paranormal content and catch full episodes on A&E or aetv.com.
So, I guess that right there, you seen the word in bold letters, proof. of life after death, the existence of ghosts. Laughable, I would think, that they would showcase proof of such claims on a TV show like that. But, I'm going to keep open-minded. What do you think, Bill?
They might have it. We'll have to see.
They might have it. Well, my question is, it's got to be peer-reviewed, and it's got to be validated by, the right people. Like, you can show a piece of footage or give physical evidence of something anomalous, like, okay, there's something there that shouldn't be there, or, what I'm saying? But to say that it's proof of ghosts, how do you actually prove that ghosts exist? What would you accept as proof, Bill?
Proof.
Like what? Like, give me an example.
Just proof. Like, it's got to be real. Like, you're looking at a Volkswagen Bug. Yeah, I can see it's a bug. That kind of proof.
So you would know it if you saw it. That's what you're saying. If they showed you the right thing, you would know if it was. What does chat think about this? I want to know what you folks think. Do you think ghost hunters are like given the ultimate clickbait for this, premiere of season 2, or do you think that they have something? What do you guys think?
Robert Beach said, I like the reboot. In my opinion, seems more credible than a lot of the other shows out there.
I would have to agree that Ghost Hunters is probably the format and how they conduct themselves is the most credible. But out of all of them, but I don't think any TV show is credible when it comes to objectively, scientifically proving something beyond a reasonable doubt. You know what I mean?
Right. Becky Compton said maybe they caught a full-bodied apparition.
Yeah, but
I don't know. Gotta see.
But see, there's a process, and I advocate this, guys. You got to be critical of these things. You want to be able to release that to anyone. Okay, like here it is. Analyze it, scrutinize it, do what you need to. We do that with our own stuff, especially our patrons that support us. We release a lot of edited content. If the stuff that we're putting in our films and our videos that we believe is unexplainable, we want to offer up that video footage, that audio, unedited in pure original form, so people can scrutinize it, so they know that there's no trickery going on.
Rebecca said, I don't think anyone can have 100% proof without being there and experiencing it firsthand.
Right. And even then, it's just based on what you perceive it is. And I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, but giving the word proof makes the skeptic in me like OCD,
Right. Melissa asked a question. She said, Justin, what would it take to convince you?
To use the word proof, you would have to somehow be able to, on command, give evidence of not only or something that defines what a ghost is. A lot of people have an idea of what a ghost is, and they see things they don't understand, and they kind of say, I think that's a ghost. Some people think dust floating around in front of their lens is a ghost. So I wouldn't ask those people. I wouldn't let those people determine what a ghost is or not. You want somebody that's, really serious and really knowledgeable about all the subject matters that matter, videography, photography, physics, even spirituality. Okay. Cause you got to have both sides. So I think that if we're able to create a device or have a replicated method to not only communicate with, okay, someone asked me this. I think it was Jeff, Mudgett, the ancestor of H.H. Holmes. Is that his name? help me out there. I think that's his name. He asked the question on Facebook, and I proposed to him and Radford that let's just say you have a relative and they're terminally ill with something. Let's say they're dying of cancer. They know they're going to die. They're on death's door. And I go to them and I'm like, okay, this is how we're going to prove life after death. We're going to give you a list of code words, and we're going to use devices or use EVP to get these words that only you know and I know, and we're going to kind of like get like a piece of paper and write them down and lock them in a secure place. And we're going to have a third party come in, review this data that we've previously worked out with the person who is about to die, whether it be names, things, just code words. And then we're actually, they can give lists of signs that they want to do. Like say, I'm going to let a bird fly into your window on November 5th, 2020 at 2 p.m. Stuff like that. Just stuff that's got rigid, proof that it can't be coincidence. And after they die, have those things happen. Either if you can get an EVP of all these code words, if you can get it on a spirit box, if you can say, hey, I'm going to appear in this doorway, and look exactly like this, or do anything and have it predicted. See, the thing is, it's got to be predicted and replicated. You got to be able to replicate it to have that proof. And that, to me, is irrefutable. I don't know what anybody else thinks, but I haven't had anybody tell me that that's not good enough.
Melissa asked a question. She said, is there anyone that you trust enough to review evidence and confirm it and say it's proof that you would believe?
Yes, absolutely. People that I work with in the field. Do you want me to name names? But because there will be quite a lot of them, actually. I want to make sure I'm reading through, make sure there's not any questions on YouTube.
I've been watching it. Okay. I don't see any.
Well, I'm going to help. I can only turn the pillow so many ways. Maybe I shouldn't read these out loud.
They're talking about talking in their sleep.
Okay.
Rebecca Gardner asked, she said, Justin, but how do you know that the particular person isn't going to immediately cross over?
That is based on your belief. So that shouldn't matter. If the dead can communicate with us, some people believe that they can do it whether they're crossed over or not. Some people don't. That shouldn't matter, and that shouldn't be a factor. Okay, you can only assume, like you would have to set up these experiments more than once. You would do this exhaustively. So you would keep, maybe you go into a hospital and make pacts and set up, deals and with people who know they're going to die very soon, and see how many hits you can get with these people. I don't believe that. If you cross over, you can't communicate. I don't understand why. I understand that's a belief, but I don't understand why you should use that as a limitation for your experiment.
She said, no, just curious. Is there anyone?
Yes.
So there are people.
Oh, yeah.
Betty Kegley said, if I die before any of you, I'll give you proof.
Yeah. There's been a couple people that I know that was on death's door, but I was too nervous and afraid to ask them to do that, because asking someone that you know but don't know closely, like I've never met them in real life. I know people, they'll go on Facebook and they'll say, they're sick, this is happening, I could die any day. I don't want to be like, hey, I'm sorry about your situation, but can you show up on my recorder after you die so I can prove that life? It's just insanely awkward to address somebody.
Rebecca said, I only asked because nobody has been able to speak to my mother or grandmother who both crossed unexpectedly.
Rebecca, I don't think the paranormal or life after death is you can't put a pin on it. Some people who have passed might talk. You might hear them with your ears. You might hear them on the recorder. You might hear them on the telephone, answering machine, radio. You might have a dream. They might come to you in your dreams. It may be their favorite. Maybe they watched birds and their favorite bird would come and land right there, and you know that bird isn't supposed to be there. You know signs. But unfortunately, that's not good enough unless you predict that it will happen and set it up. You know what I'm saying? So those are the differences. But I think that if you're not finding the communication or signs that you need, it may be possible that you're not looking for them in the right places on the right forms of signs. And not everybody I know that people will like to think, well, like my dad died 2011, I would like to think that he would try to let me know if he could say something to me if he still could. And he hadn't. And my mother explained to me that she has communication with him all the time. But I had to understand that I'm not clairaudient, that's not one of my abilities. Okay. So I understand that the way I communicate with my father is not how you typically would do it. And it's very strange. And I might bring this up on another show. Actually, we'll talk about it on my Paranormal Soapbox Tuesday. So if you want to know some of the weird ways that I do communicate with my father, and I believe how other people may communicate with their loved ones outside of talking to them, the spirit is to understand the afterlife and the spirit world is very strange, and not everybody can hear, ghosts or deceased people talking to them. So I don't want to get into what I believe right now, but kind of let your mind wander and kind of think out the box.
Betty Kegley said, "Hey, dude, I know you're going to croak, but could you do me a favor?"
Right. I'm like, yeah, I know you're going to die, but like when you die, can you do me a solid? Yeah, that's really weird.
Rebecca said, "Send me a code word, Justin. I will come talk to you. LOL."
Yeah.
Steve said Bill's getting lonely back there.
Bill, you jump in anytime, buddy. All right. But I like this dialogue. I like these questions coming up because that's what the show's about, right? We'll move along. You can keep them coming if you want, if you have more questions, but we'll go on to this next piece of news. Mount Shasta cloud photo sparks UFO rumors. So this obviously looks like a cloud that's lit up by the sun, but we're going to read this. This distinctive disc-shaped cloud formation was recently photographed by a worker in the Cascade Mountains, appearing as a bright orange disc in an otherwise pristine morning sky. This remarkable weather phenomenon certainly raised a few eyebrows when it appeared on February 13th. The spectacle soon became a topic of discussion after a photograph taken by Shasta McCloud Management Unit Fire Management Officer Paul Zur was posted on Facebook. While some users claim that it could be a UFO, the phenomenon is in fact lenticular cloud. Lenticular cloud, sorry. Lenticular clouds are stationary clouds that are shaped like a lens and normally develop on the downside or downwind side of a mountain or mountain range, the U.S. Forest Service wrote. They are most common during the winter months, and Mountain Shasta is one of the places to spot them in the state and perhaps the country. The image serves as another example of how something as simple as a cloud can be mistaken for something anomalous, with lenticular clouds in particular being among the most commonly misidentified. So that is pretty cool. See if we can blow up this image. No, it just takes us to the Facebook post. Pretty cool stuff. See what else we got here. Oh, the CIA. The CIA. Leaked files expose Pentagon's UFO program. And this article was posted on Sunday, February 16th, 2020. New details have been revealed about the Pentagon's research into exotic propulsion systems and UFOs. Interest in the government's role in investigating unidentified aerial phenomena received a huge boost back in 2017 when it was revealed that the Pentagon had been running a secretive $22 million project known as the Advanced Aviation Threat Identification Program. The revelation was unexpected, especially given that the last official government investigation into the UFO phenomenon, Project Blue Book, ended over 50 years ago. 2 months ago, however, Pentagon spokesman Susan Go threw a spanner into the works by telling Black Vault founder John Greenwald Jr. and AATIP didn't have anything to do with the UFOs. Now, though, popular mechanics journalist Tim McMillan has further lifted the lid on the Pentagon's activities thanks to newly released documents from Bigelow Aerospace Exotic Science Division. These files suggest that AATIP actually did investigate unidentified aerial phenomena and that it even looked into the effects of exposure to anomalous vehicles and exotic propulsion systems. What cannot be overly emphasized is that when one looks at the literature of anomalous cases, including UFO claims from the most reliable sources, the extent and degree of acute high but not necessarily chronic low-level injuries are consistent across patients who are injured compared to witnesses in the far field who are not, the report reads. In another Bigelow Aerospace document from 2009, there are even more references to sightings of unidentified flying objects and the effects of such encounters on biological organisms. The investigators reportedly requested documents from the U.S. Air Force's Project Blue Book, and there are references to specific UFO cases, including one at a nuclear weapons facility. The report even refers to Utah Skinwalker's Ranch as possible laboratory for studying other intelligences and possible interdimensional phenomena. The original Popular Mechanics piece can be found here. So we'll link that for you folks. Put it in the chat for your reference to that article. So very interesting. We know, it should be common knowledge that the government is researching these things.
I have a question. Steve asked, what are your thoughts on the Men in Black? Are they still around, or was that a one-time deal?
I think that the Men in Black are not government officials. Maybe like a private organization contracted by some black departments of the government, but I think that they try to compartmentalize that section and kind of contract private sectors of the community to deal with that. People with money, people with interest, and maybe money involving such things. But I think that there's like some type of outside of the government agency that deals with that, but does have some ties to some government officials, but it's very compartmentalized. I think if you follow Chad Kalix and Craig Powell's documentaries about Sir No Face, Two-Face the Gray, and the recent documentaries that could come out, they get visited by alleged Men in Black, and people report it all the time. So it's very possible that they're just everywhere and anywhere.
I'm sorry, Justin. They're talking about food on YouTube, and Bill's got cats jumping up on the desk.
I saw the cat. Bill, you're muted or something. We can't hear you at all. The cat killed Bill's audio. Yeah, we can't hear Bill.
We can't hear Bill. I'll make s'mores for it. Oh my God. Fireball and Betty Kigley are talking about Fig Newtons and s'mores and.
Yeah, Bill, the cat, like, I think that's your interface on next to the dead light. I don't know if it hit that, It was over there on your left side of the table. It might have hit something. I think it's funny that the cat came up on the table and now his audio don't work.
The cat's got his tongue.
Yep, the cat took his tongue and ran away with it. That's hilarious. Okay. What else do we got here? We got all kinds of paranormal shenanigans. Police respond to report of demonic sounds. It's always interesting to read about this. Officers were called out to investigate a very strange incident in Pueblo, Colorado on February 13th. The bizarre incident, which took place at around 3:30 a.m., saw employees at a local branch of McDonald's call the emergency services after being spooked by demonic sounds. According to the report, the sounds, which were described as being like a strange language combined with an unnerving barking, were coming from an unidentified screaming woman. The employees were so shaken by the incident that they refused to leave the building until morning. A total of 3 officers attended the scene and conducted a thorough search of the area. However, despite their best efforts, they were unable to determine who or what had produced the sounds. Some social media users have linked the incident to La Llorona, an infamous wailing ghost of Latin American folklore who is said to scream in anguish and torment. With no definitive explanation forthcoming, however, the case continues to remain unsolved. And here we have, I guess this is Twitter here. At about 3:30 this morning, officers responded to a business in the area of Pueblo Boulevard, and northern employees reported hearing a woman screaming and making demonic sounds to include speaking in a strange language and barking. They said they won't be going back outside their building until the sun came up. That's hilarious. So, yeah. Interesting. Bill's still screwing around with his audio. That's so annoying when that happens. What else we got here? Area 51. Yes. I can't believe this is back. Allegedly, the storm Area 51 is happening all over again. Has anybody heard about this, chat? And if you're in chat and you've heard about this, let me know. The infamous event, which saw millions of signups back in 2019, is set to take place again later this year. Originally billed as a tongue-in-cheek effort to determine if there are aliens at the secretive U.S. base, the event, titled Storm Area 51, They Cannot Stop Us All, or Stop All of Us, rather, was originally posted on Facebook in July. A quick... Uh-oh, is that you, Bill? I think we got you now, Bill. Okay, it quickly became something of an internet phenomenon with a whooping 2.5 million signups. Sadly, though, the event was marred by military warnings, organizational problems, and a rather poor showing, given that only a tiny fraction of those who signed up and actually attended on the day. This hasn't stopped efforts to attempt the whole thing again this year, however. A recent posting by the owners of the aptly named Little Alien in Rachel, Nevada, was revealed that Rachel Alien Stock 2020 will be taking Alien Stock 2020, guys. Rachel Alien Stock 2020, I can't believe this, will be taking place across 3 days starting on September 10th. Well, there are no other details at the moment. An employee told Mashable in a phone call that there is a chance that it could be postponed until the following year due to unforeseen complications. As things stand, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. If it's anything like last year's event, organizing and hosting it would prove something of a challenge. So yeah. Did you get it figured out, Bill Davis?
Nope.
We can't hear him. I thought I heard him for...
I know.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Is that good?
Yeah, do you have to keep a button pushed?
No.
No, yeah.
Christy is having a blast out there.
I know. Can someone call Christy and tell her to shut the hell up?
I will message her after I ask this question.
Okay.
Who was it? Okay, Steve White asked, how credible do you find it when 911 responders talk about their paranormal experiences?
Just as credible as if I heard you tell me. I don't think, because they're 911 responders, I don't think they're any better or worse than anybody else. I mean, considering. Let's see if I can find Christy here. We're going to call Christy during the show and tell her to be quiet. This should
I
be
got
interesting.
her. I sent her a message.
Did she see it?
No.
It's not even connecting. There we go. It's ringing now. This should be good.
Blocked you.
She blocked me. Hey, I don't know why you think I want to broadcast everything going on in my living room, but it's I find it. Oh, she hung up on me.
That's right.
Hopefully that fixed things. Okay. All right. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I believe people experience things strange all the time. I think it's just as credible as you telling me that you experienced it. Aluminum foil does not repel radiation, just saying. What are they talking about radiation? Aliens?
She said, oops, I forgot he was alive.
It was all over Facebook back in like August. Okay. Gina says, originally about illegal aliens from what I understood and took off from a misunderstanding of aliens. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Strange creature washes up in Mexico Beach. This looks fake to me, but I don't know. We'll let you guys be the judge. I mean, take a look at this thing. It's like a dolphin with an eel tail. No eyes. This strange eyeless sea beast is rumored to have come from the depths of the Pacific Ocean. Discovered by locals on a Destinlanders Beach along Mexico's Pacific coastline, this mysterious creature has some seriously sharp teeth. Looks a little bit like a dolphin, yet seems to have no eyes at all, nor any other discernible features such as fins or flippers along its gray serpent-like body. According to reports, the people who found it initially mistook it for a dolphin but quickly changed their minds after getting a closer look at it. None of the local fishermen who came to examine the carcass could identify what it was either. Some have speculated that it could have come from a particularly deep part of the ocean off the coast of Puerto Vallarta that descends into the depth of over 1,000 meters. If this is true, the darkness at such a depth might explain its appearance and lack of eyes. Some internet users, meanwhile, have suggested that the image could be fake and may simply be a dead dolphin with the eyes and other features removed using photo editing software. This is what I actually think. I mean, right in here is what makes me think Photoshop, because the shadows are kind of mushy and it looks like there's some editing going on there. Yeah, the shadow don't look quite right to me. That definitely looks photoshopped. What do you guys think? Photoshop or real? Let me know in the chat.
Photoshop.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's weird stuff in the ocean, TJ. No doubt. We're still discovering stuff every day. What do you think, Bill? Does that thing look real or photoshopped?
It looks photoshopped, but the people that found it may have eaten the fins.
They're pretty hungry. I think Christy's trying to message me.
Fins are good. You can make scallops.
Christy said she forgot I was on. Justin, would you like to be in my documentary? I don't know, buddy. People are messaging me. Okay, let's take a look at this. Got a couple more things to look at. Concerns raised in New Zealand over hunt for giants. So a lot of these articles I have not read. Excuse me, because I have not had time to. I'm just trying to bookmark them. A group of anonymous individuals have been digging tunnels in search of evidence of giants in New Zealand. The mysterious group, whose members have yet to be identified, have been digging out a network of tube-like caves for the better part of 4 years. Often working under cover of darkness, their goal is to unearth evidence of pre-Polynesian giants or tall ones who they believe once lived in the region. Concerns have been raised not only due to the potential for genuine archaeological evidence to be damaged, but also because the landowner has not given them permission to be there. In one recent video published by the group, an anomalous member presented a large leg bone. This here, my friends, is a human bone of a pre-Polynesian inhabitant, he said. You can tell by the triangular shape. It's most likely a tibia, which would make this individual 8 foot 4 inches tall. Regardless of its length, this is an older bone than any human being in New Zealand. Archaeologists later dismissed the bone as that of a moa, a large extinct bird, providing proof of 8 foot humans to the world will be bigger than finding I guess that's a mummy. I'm not going to try to pronounce that because for some reason my throat's failing me. The leader of the group, who is known only as IJ, told Radio New Zealand, "It will be the most talked about worldwide story of the millennium. As things stand, however, no conclusive, verifiable evidence of these tall ones has materialized." So, I did see the photo of the bone. I think it was Coast to Coast AM. Let me go back to Coast to Coast. Oops, that's not how you spell that. Coast to Coast AM. Yeah, I did see a photo. Let me go to news. Where is the news? Maybe right here. Articles. Pretty sure this is where I saw it. See if we can find it here. Where is it? Where is it? There's the dolphin thing. I can't find it. No. Survey plan, Colorado. I saw it on here. I swear to God, people, they were going to turn liars into me. Oh well. Moving right along. It's going to take more than that to convince us. Oh, here's something interesting. We'll take a look at this. Bone walls made of human limbs and skulls discovered under church in Belgium. Yeah. If you're going to find some ghosts, that will be, right? These bones likely came from an old graveyard that was cleared hundreds of years ago. Look at that. Look at that. Talk about creepy, creepy, creepy. A series of 9 walls were made largely with long bones from legs and skulls. Image, a copyright, Ruben Williert, BVBA. Archaeologists recently discovered walls built from a macabre material, human bones, including shattered skulls, while excavating the grounds of a church in Ghent, Belgium. By the end of the excavation, archaeologists had uncovered 9 walls built mostly with adult thighs and shin bones. The intermediate zones were filled with skulls, many of them fragmented, according to Ruben Williert, Restoration and Archaeology Decoration, the Dutch company that found the walls during an excavation ahead of the construction for a new visitors center at the cathedral. These ghastly structures were likely the work of people who hundreds of years ago cleared out an old graveyard to make the room either for a new bodies or a church renovation, said archaeologist Janik de Grijs on the staff of Ruben Williert and the excavations project leader. When clearing the churchyard, the skeletons cannot just be thrown away, de Grijs told the Live Science in an email. Given that the faithful believed in a resurrection of the body, the bones were just considered the most important part. Safeguarding human remains was so important that sometimes stone houses were built against the walls of city graveyards just to house the skulls and long bones in what is called an ossuary, de Grijs said. So here's another shot of it. Yeah, that's creepy. Pretty creepy.
Well, that's like Chat said, though. It's not uncommon. Look at the catacombs and all the other tunnels that they've uncovered that are made of bones.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's an uncommon at all. I don't think the article is saying it's uncommon. It's just newsworthy. It's just like, hey, look at this. You don't see this every day.
Right.
You know what I mean? So let's just say you're digging a footer for your garage, and all of a sudden, boom, it's the movie Poltergeist. You're digging a pool in the backyard.
At Josh's.
So the article is pretty long. Decapitated skeletons found in. Oh, this is just another article, I think.
TJ said, I believe it. I believe in Germany you are only allowed to be in your grave for 100 years. I don't know where I read that. It's been a while.
You're only allowed to be in your grave for 100 years? Like, you rent it? You lease the grave? Wow. Scotty Fox, what's up, buddy? Smithsonian Museum isn't to be trusted, in my opinion, regarding previous giant bones donated and are gone convenient. That is definitely a conspiracy theory that I've researched throughout the years. Oh, yes. TJ says, oh yeah, you just read her comment, didn't you?
Yep.
Darren says it's believable. Yes. There's this other article about CIA spying, but I'm kind of done with this new stuff. I want to get into Landon's footage. There is an investigation. I think it was last year. He says he kind of explains it, but we're going to take a look at Landon Wells. He's been a Patreon for a while, and he just uploaded a piece of footage from the investigation that he finds very interesting, and we're going to let you guys see it right now. And let me know what you think. He's going to set it up for us, and you be the judge.
What's going on, everybody? Today, we're talking ghosts. I got a very interesting video for you guys today. This is something that my ghost hunting team based out of Atlanta here captured on video a few years ago, and I want your opinion on it. So we're going to dive into the computer now, and when you see this, let me know what you think it is down in the comments below. Alright, so first off, for those of you who don't know what Old South Pittsburgh Hospital is at all, it's this hospital right here. Here's an older picture of it. In just the past year or so, maybe 2 years, it's been purchased by a new person who's done some remodeling on the inside, tore a bunch of it down, rebuilt it, so good stuff there. But with that comes that it's doubled in price to rent, so we haven't went back since then. But a little bit of history about the place. Let's see, it was opened in 1959, closed in 1998. This was a 68,000 square foot building, and it's deemed one of the most haunted places in Tennessee. This is in Tennessee. So there's a little bit about the place. Let's get into the video, and I'll walk you through that too. All right, we're jumping here into the video now. I just want to give you guys kind of an idea of where we're at in the building before I play this video. As you see, we're looking down the hall, one of these hallways here. This was captured on our DVR system. This is a standalone camera that was up on the 3rd floor. It was a wired system. And at the time of recording, nobody was up here. We had cameras all over this building, so we know where everybody was at the time. But here's a little map of the actual 3rd floor. So right here's the elevators, and then if you come through here, there's a little nurse's station right in this area, and the camera is right in here, just outside this waiting room. I think it's actually right outside this room 310, and it's filming down this hallway here. The 3rd floor is known to have, or at least the legends and the stories are said to have a toddler that, roams the 3rd floor here. And that's kind of why you'll see these little dolls, and there's little bikes and tricycles and things like that up here, little kids' toys for them to play with. But then there's also stories of like this 7-foot tall shadow man that lives down here on this side of the hallway. We actually had a camera facing both directions here. But what was captured was only captured on this direction and nothing captured going this direction. So I'm just going to show you that one video here. Let's jump over and I'll play the video for you and then I'll walk you through it. All right, so very short, sweet, to the point. What I want you to notice is that in the beginning of this clip, which I didn't notice my first time watching it, is there's this orb of light that comes out of this door here. And I'll be able to, I'll slow it down so you guys can see it actually comes out of this door. And it comes around the camera here and back down this hallway, going behind the camera. Just a few seconds after that, you'll see another ball of light come up along the side of the wall here. As soon as it gets to the front of this door, it whips around almost like it's chasing that first ball and comes back and actually hits the camera, which is absolutely amazing. I don't put a lot of credence and things into these orbs. There's a lot of them that are just BS out there. But one that can actually move the camera interests me a lot. So let's play that in full speed again. See if you guys can catch that first ball that comes around and then the second one that comes and actually hits the camera. There's the first one. Here comes the second one. Boom. It hits the camera and moves it. Now, let me explain. I'm actually recording the TV screen of our DVR system here. This is not a pulled clip from the DVR. I actually have that, but it comes out in some weird file format that I couldn't put in here for some reason. I'm not really sure. I got to figure that out. But this is me just recording the TV screen. So you'll see these lines right here are separating the different camera angles. So there's a camera over here, there's a camera over here, and a few more down here. We had like 16 cameras running. But so that you know that it's not me, moving the camera there, if you want to focus on this door frame here, you'll be able to see how much of it you can see now, and then by the end of the clip, after it gets moved, how much of it you can see there. So it definitely got hit and moved the camera completely. So let's do one thing. I'm going to put this over here into, I'm going to change the colors around a little bit on it just so you can kind of see it a little better, and we're going to slow this down, go frame by frame. Let's see. So I want you to notice, when I go real slow, it's kind of hard to see, but right here is that first ball of light, and you'll see it. It's going to come right around here. Boom, you can see it moving. And it comes back around. Now, this is where you'll be able to actually see that second one coming up. So you'll see it just entered frame right here. And you'll see it's coming around in front of that door. Almost like it travels the same path as the first one. And then it comes around and it looks like it's coming straight for the camera. And that's when the camera moves. And really right here you can see how far it jars the camera sideways. And how perfectly timed it is. Boom, boom, boom. Hits the camera, moves it. Let's play that in full speed in this different. So you'll see that first one. You can see it. It's almost blinking as it comes around. Blinking. It's going really fast. First one's hard to see. But then that second one comes around like it's chasing it and hits it. This is crazy to me. I don't know. I wanted to hear what you guys think about it. It's very interesting. It's kind of cool to know that, the story is that there's a kid up here that plays, and this is, playing tag like this would be something that a kid would do. So it's a very interesting clip. One of the coolest things we've captured at this hospital. I'd love to go back and investigate this more. And I'd be interested also if somebody else has captured anything like it. So if you have any opinions, if you've captured something like this, drop the link into the comments down below so we can check it out. You don't miss my next upload, and I'll see you next time.
All right, so everybody's chiming in with their opinions, and of course, no one can really know 100% what that is. It definitely looks like it could be dust. It could be a bug. The problem with a lot of stuff that you can't explain in video is because you don't have a lot of information to go off of. You can't see what's to the left, what's to the right, what's behind. So anything can come up behind that camera and move it. The fact that what appears to be the orb syncing up with the movement of the camera could just be coincidence. And here's a theory to kind of explain. Since there's no audio or no 360 or other angles, it could have been someone or an animal going up to the camera, kicking up some dust. So that's why there was some dust in the frame and then brushing against it. The angle of the anomaly going towards the camera doesn't match. It looks like it should bump it back, but it just kind of moves it, pans it to the right a little bit. So it doesn't exactly match, but it does kind of arc to that way a little bit, so it could match. I'm just thinking that something spiritual moving the camera like that is not something that I've seen or have experience in. But I think the most rational way to explain something like, or to give an explanation, a possible explanation for it, is something physical, something explainable moved it, like an animal. Maybe someone was there moving it. They just don't know where everybody was during that time. That's why it's important to have multiple angles. 360 cameras are great. Having audio coupled with the video is great. You can hear if there's footsteps, if there's something moving around. You know, you can even set up motion detectors like trail cams to see if you can catch animals going on around the area. So the possibility of something of that anomaly that we're seeing being paranormal is very low to me. So that's what I have for Landon. There could be a possibility that the camera moved and there's no explanation for it, but it was just a coincidence that dust or bugs were in front of the camera. What's everybody else saying here, Missy?
That it's dust or a bug.
Okay.
But they don't know why the camera moved.
Yeah, there's no way to know. You can only just guess what moved it.
What do you think, Bill?
No, do you have no audio, Bill? That's really annoying. What? What's wrong with his audio? Oh, Missy's got a.
Talk to Justin.
Bill can't tell us what he thinks.
Is it on there now?
Yeah.
You've changed.
It's just a setting.
Okay.
The setting I keep moving.
Oh, stop doing it. It's a little low, but I can hear you.
Oh, for love it.
There you go. So what do you think?
Now it's better. I agree with you pretty much 100% on that. The more evidence, the better.
Mm-hmm.
Like
The more,
you
yeah, you just need more information there. More information. And, you know, when we go to these places, we spend the money, we spend the time setting up the camera and all the hard work that goes into it. We want to capture something. So we're searching and reaching for anything we could possibly get. Okay. Because it is really frustrating and to go to these places, spend the money, spend the time, put all the effort in and just not get anything. So, I really appreciate that he's asking for peer review. I'm huge advocate of that. So hopefully the peer review he just got on this show kind of helps him, you know, in future investigations. Maybe he has a different setup next time. Maybe he tries to get audio in the setting of where his cameras are and sync it. with the video, that would definitely be more information. But I really appreciate Landon letting us review that. Does anybody else have anything to submit for the show? That would be awesome. That would be really awesome because
Hard to
I don't
get the audio down.
What's that?
As you know, it's hard to get the audio down, even just for a show.
Well, usually I just click mute when people can't hear me. Justin, what are your thoughts on ghost lights, or what is it called? Spook lights. Are you talking about the ones that are kind of seen around like mountain ranges and stuff? Let me make sure I know what you're talking about. Ghost lights. A ghost light is an electric light that is left energized on the stage of a theater. Oh, that's an actual thing. What is a point of a ghost light? What is another term for ghost light? A will-o'-the-wisp, also called ghost light, is in some countries a natural phenomenon producing a ghostly light sometimes seen at night or twilight over bogs, swamps, and marshes. I don't want to say it's swamp gas. What I have seen myself, it looks exactly like bugs and dust illuminated by light on cameras. It can be different colors. A lot of times it shows up around mountain ranges, and if it's something legitimate, I think it could be nature beings, fairies, fae, stuff like that. That's my best guess, and that's what I've been told by my mother and the research I've had out there. That's what I think about it. Okay.
A wisp or in EverQuest.
I mean, ghost lights is kind of like there's a large spectrum of things that could be. Yeah, Old South Pittsburgh Hospital is definitely somewhere that we have talked about going, and we may, in fact, go there this year. It just depends. TJ says, I've heard of people seeing lantern lights and such. Yes. My favorite one that I've investigated and I've covered is the apparition that's seen at Moonville Tunnel in Vinton County, Ohio, on the Baltimore-Cincinnati Railroad tracks at Moonville Tunnel. There used to be a town there that's now a ghost town called Moonville. And the train conductors in 1889 would report that this glowing robed man would walk onto the tracks with this lantern and scare the crap out of the people in the train. And it was reported over, 120, 30 years ago. And I found that fascinating. And when we went out to investigate, we did see the lights floating around. We thought they were kids with flashlights. We would go investigate. You would find no one. Nobody would be there. So I've definitely experienced it. It's weird. Fairy lights. That's right. Jen Rawl 7 says, there's one on a road that looks like car and that eventually disappears. That could be considered ghost lights too. We have the famous Min Min lights in Australia, and I have talked to people who have been followed on the highway and couldn't outrun it. That's a really strange phenomena. Let's talk about that article, because this all kind of ties in. Do I have this article on here? I thought I did. Maybe I didn't bookmark it because I posted it. United Paranormal Society. I'll just go to Facebook. What's up, Derek, by the way? How you feeling, buddy?
Not too bad.
Not too bad? You can tell me all your plight about working so much while I dig this up.
Oh, hell. Working way too much. Ready to kill people.
That's not good. Okay, I'm pulling it up now, folks. Just give me just a second. Or I thought it was. There we go. Yeesh. Okay, this article is probably clickbait, the way they got it. Whoops, wrong way there. Okay. A new theory on time indicates present and future exist simultaneously. This is on February 19, 2020, and the Science Files website. The box universe theories describe now as an arbitrary place in time and states that the past and the future and the present all exist simultaneously. Massachusetts Institute of Technology professor of philosophy Dr. Bradford Scow suggests that if we look down on the universe as if we were looking at a piece of paper, we would see time spanning all directions exactly the same way we see space at the same point. At some point, rather. So what does this really mean? Well, this suggests that time as we know it is incorrect. In other words, it is not linear as we have always thought. In fact, everything around us is always present. Dr. Scow is not the first scientist to question that we all perceive time. In 1915, Einstein introduced a theory of unified space and time. In his general theory of relativity, he proposes that space-time takes shape in a multiple or continuous way, and that if viewed, you'll see both as a four-dimensional vector space, and this vector is known as the Bloch theory. The distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. That's a quote from Einstein. The author argues that he wouldn't want to believe in that unless I saw good arguments for it. I was interested in seeing what kind of view of the universe you would have if you took these metaphors about the passage of time very, very seriously, Scow says. Dr. Scow further details, the Bloch universe theory says you'll spread out in time something like the way you're spread out in space. You're not located at a single time. Dr. Scow agrees that while things change and we see time as if we were passing, Dr. Scow believes that we are in scattered conditions and that different parts of time may be dotted around the infinite universe. Time travel. Once you try to wrap your head around this theory, you'll begin to realize that it could also change the way we think of time travel. If this theory is real, then we can't simply travel time and change it. If everything is happening simultaneously, your past, present, future laid out in space, then it would be impossible to create grandfather paradoxes. Instead, you will only travel through time and experience it as it is and as it always would be. So here's kind of a graphic showing all time and space, and here in current moment, you're kind of like experiencing just a slice of it. And I'm going to kind of go into my own theories about this. Dr. Christy Miller, who is the joint director of the Center for Time at the University of Sydney, explained the theory in a piece published by ABC Science. Miller described how all moments that exist are relative to each other within three spatial dimensions and a single time dimension. So we'll go ahead and watch this video.
So there's two general hypotheses or theories about the nature of time. One of them we'll call presentism. In presentism, the notion is that only the present is real. The past was real. The future, some configuration of the future universe will be real, but for now, only the present is real. In contrast, the opposing view is called eternalism. In eternalism, you have the past, present, and future are all equally real. So that makes the present just an arbitrary point in time, or an arbitrary moment in time. So one way to think about this is now is to time as here is to space. So in the same sense that I happen to be here and some viewers are out at some other point in space, and we're all comfortable with that notion that other points in space are equally real, in eternalism, you have to be comfortable with the notion that other moments in time are as equally real as this moment in time, and this is just an arbitrary moment. So under that view, there are other moments, or there's a continuum of moments in time that are essentially already laid out within the universe. And that universe in physics is called the Bloch universe. So under the Bloch universe, it makes sense to engage in a conversation about time travel because there's other moments to go to. Not that this doesn't speak to the issue of whether time travel is actually plausible or not. It's probably not. But it enables the conversation because other moments in time exist. Now, under presentism, we can pretty much take the possibility of time travel off the table because there's no other moments to go to. Only the present is real. So it doesn't make sense to ask if you can travel to moments in time in the past or future that don't exist. Now, there's a clash here between neuroscience and physics. So intuitively, the time seems to be changing. We humans experience the flow of time. Under eternalism, it's where everything is already laid out. The flow of time is a deep mystery because it would seem to be that if all moments in time are already laid out within the block universe, that the flow of time shouldn't exist or must be an illusion. So if the flow of time, if our subjective sense of the flow of time is an illusion, we have this clash between physics and neuroscience because the dominant theory in physics is that we live in the block universe. And and I should be clear, there's no consensus, there's no 100% agreement. But the standard view in physics is that, and this comes in large part from relativity, that we live in an eternalist universe, in a block universe in which the past, present, future is equally real. So this raises the question of whether we can trust our brain to tell us that time is flowing. So I think we need to have an improved dialogue between physics and neuroscience here. So on one hand, we have to decide is if we want to accept that our subjective sense of the flow of time is an objective fact about the universe. We perceive time to be flowing. Things seem to be changing. The past seems to be vaporizing into the past, and the future seems to be wide open. Now, if it's the case that we live in the block universe, that seems to be illusory in a very deep sense. So we have to decide if we want to take our subjective sense of the flow of time as an objective fact about the universe. That must be explained by physics. Or in contrast, is our subjective sense of the flow of time merely an illusion in the deepest sense of that word, because we're perceiving something that doesn't exist in the physical world that physics doesn't need to explain because it doesn't exist, and thus neuroscience needs to address where this illusion comes from. And this illusion is presumably tightly coupled with the problem of consciousness.
So, I'll kind of read on, this kind of finishes up here. The block universe theory is also known in some scientific circles as the internalism, which the past, present, and future all coexist now. This is opposed to presentism, which states that the past doesn't exist anymore and it is constantly disappearing thanks to pesky notions of present time. So why does this apply to the paranormal? I think it very much applies to the paranormal because I think a lot of what we experience is glitches in the matrix. And what I mean by that is we're experiencing time in the past and in the future, and we perceive it as ghosts or we perceive it as glitches in the matrix. I believe that stone tape theory, residual hauntings is all evidence that we are somehow decohered from the past, but it can coexist and cohere with our existence now at points in time that don't seem obvious why it's happening. I very much believe that this is true. You know, if you kind of had a hard time understanding what the block theory states is, okay, in this cup is your everything in your life, your birth to your death. Now we can take a piece out and look at it and examine it as the present. And that's how we see our lives. That's how we perceive our lives. But in actuality, it's this. It all coexists at once. So our brain and how it interprets the stimuli that exist in this universe is almost like a simulation, a simulated form of time. So if this is true, then when you do time travel, you don't go visit yourself, you just go visit that time. There's no paradoxes, there's no you seeing yourself like in Back to the Future type scenarios. You just go to that time. And I think that's what a past life regression person does. And I think a lot of people in the psychic community and metaphysical community have talked about incorporating this theory into what they believe. Missy, have you been reading these comments? I've read several.
Yeah, I have. It's like astral projection. Is that what you would?
Temporal projection. Okay. Astral projection is a spatial dimension travel. I'm talking about temporal projection. It's something that involves our notion of time.
I gotcha. General 7 wanted you to post the link to that video.
Oh, the Big Think video? Okay.
The video we just watched.
Okay.
TJ said, how do you get these jobs?
You go to school for it. Physics, quantum physics, geeky stuff.
Steve White said, here we go, quantum physics.
Yeah, he was commenting on the article that I posted in United Paranormal Society. And I was like, yeah, we're going to be talking about it. He's like, yay.
TJ said, poor man looks exhausted. He said that guy has access to some good pot.
Him and Bill have something in common. What do you think about this, Bill? Like, do you think it's possible that a lot of the stuff we experience is linked to our misinterpretation of how time works?
Yeah, that could be. What if you hit the speed of light? Do you go? That's the only way, right?
Well, Einstein said it's possible. Like the time, along with space, is malleable. It's not a fixed thing that can't be changed. So depending on the person observing you or your speed in space, you can space and time can dilate and contract. So you can appear to be going faster, you can appear to be going slower. The clocks up in the satellites orbiting the Earth tick slower than the clocks down here by a very small fraction. So they have to compensate for that. So that proves the theory that Einstein proposed about time. Time is relative to mass. The more massive an object you are present or near, the faster time goes, or the slower time goes, rather. It ticks faster up in space and slower down here on Earth. Let me get my physics right. So the closer you are to the Earth, the slower time is. So that's why when you go into a black hole, time mathematically stops, and gravity is infinite.
They say the matter's not destroyed, so when it goes in the black hole, it just like squashes it.
Yeah, to like an infinitely small
inner
point.
Wall. Yeah, like on the inner wall, and it's just shooting out like we're holograms now.
Oh, the holographic theory. Yeah, that is a whole nother thing where it's almost like we're in the Matrix, and all the information to the universe is stored on the outside of black holes. So yeah, that's another wormhole you can dive down. So I thought it was interesting because when I do the research on paranormal, I try to understand the paranormal through theories, scientific principles, scientific theory, a lot of the things in quantum physics suggests things are paranormal, or they're outside of what we perceive as real, like non-locality, superposition, quantum entanglement. All those things are counterintuitive to the way we see the world. And the point I wanted to make up is if you're familiar with the double split experiment, I know Jen brought up free will. So I think everything has a cause and effect until you introduce free will. Once you introduce free will, then you have a probability wave. You have all these possibilities that have chances of becoming reality or not. So I believe that we're all experiencing a probability wave, and free will determines what we actually perceive as reality, and boom, and that's what happens. So I think our consciousness is a way to collapse that wave function into what we perceive as reality, and that also involves how we perceive time as well. So not only does our consciousness collapse the waveform of all the matter that we're made up of, it collapses the waveform and all the wave functions of time into this linear progression through a temporal dimension. So it kind of adds dimension and couples it with our spatial dimension in that way. And hopefully sometime down the road, when I get to writing my book, this all will be incorporated into this theory of everything into the paranormal that I hopefully one day will be able to put out there for you folks. But I'm nowhere near close to being done or scratching the surface of these things. There's a lot of people that's doing work in this field, so we'll see what you guys think about all this. General 7 says, I adore quantum entanglement. Yeah, the quantum soul stuff is interesting.
I wanted to read some of these comments on YouTube. Scotty Fox said, I'm thinking that gravity of mass affects time around it, like an event horizon. Theory is close to a black hole.
I'm sorry, read the beginning of it again.
I'm thinking that gravity of mass affects time around it.
Right.
General 7 said, you can go away to space for 1 year, way out, and come back 20 years have passed here, but you're only a year older.
Right. And the faster you go, the more time travels back here on Earth faster than you. That's kind of what Bill was talking about.
She said, General 7 said, the premonitions, even I saw a plate breaking, so I tried so hard for it not to break. And guess what? It broke exactly how I saw it.
Well, this whole
on my mind.
Yeah, the block theory that explains precognition and premonitions. People that have abilities to see future events are only seeing what's already present, but we're perceiving as the future. So this block theory will take you down a rabbit hole that isn't deep once you get your head around block theory. You know, since the past, the present, and future is all present, then precognition, the dreams that you have that come true, the visions of the short-term future or the long-term future that come true, they are all happening at once right now. You are just perceiving it in another way. The reality that we perceive is there's time. It takes time to get to that point. But I feel that once you have heightened your abilities or your awareness of the block theory, that everything is present and, you know, including the past and future, that would explain that part of the psychic phenomenon, which I hope does. Do you think EVP could be related to wave particle duality and the measurement rule, i.e., when you capture an EVP and it only recorded on one recorder and collapsed the wave due to the measurement, and that's why you were only captured in the one recorder? Yes. I believe that is very possible, and it fits in with the wave function. So what he's kind of saying is each recorder is an independent variable in the wave function itself, and that's why we do that. That's why we use the RVPR and multiple recorders to record EVP, because each one, it has its own individual variable attached to it. Kind of like if me and Bill were sitting in a location, he can experience something and collapse all these, you know, the spectrum of possibility there. So that could be what's going on. There's no way to really prove that's what's going on, but I would say that it fits well enough into the theory that we're talking about that you can at least consider it as a possibility. You're right. Interstellar was definitely a cool movie. It did talk about that. Anything else, Missy, that you're wanting to read that we haven't got to?
No, I don't think so right now.
Okay. So yeah, this is all really cool stuff. This is the stuff I like to think about, because it's not full bullshit. It might be kind of bullshit. A lot of people think that it's woo. A lot of people think that it's bullshit, you know, when you're trying to use these scientific principles and correlate them with the paranormal. But what else are you going to do? How else are you going to try to explain the paranormal? A lot of people like to say, well, the definition of paranormal is it's outside the scope of scientific understanding. Well, no. You have to apply the right science to the phenomena. And once you understand what science you have to apply to it, it's not outside the scope of scientific understanding. Like block theory explains a whole host of things in the paranormal. Quantum entanglement can explain why people can go outside their bodies. They can entangle with, you know, their soul, their, you know, metaphysical higher selves. They can experience near-death experiences, float outside the body, and then when they get, you know, their heart going again, they snap back into their body. And it explains astral projection and temporal projection. It explains while children remember past lives. It can explain so many things like stone tape theory, residual hauntings, so many things. So I've been spending the last 6 or 7 years researching this because I eventually want to come up with my own working model for the paranormal that involves the correlation between these sciences with reported and experienced and researched phenomena that not only have I have accumulated, but all of us has accumulated and experienced. I mean, it's a big deal to me. It's a part of my spiritual path. It's a part of my science exploration, my willingness to want to understand these things in an objective, methodical way. Any thoughts, Bill? I mean, is this anything that you think about? Do you think about these things?
Yeah. Yes, I do. I pretty much agree with just about everything you said.
What's Danny have to say?
Amazing. Danny, he said you found his dad or something.
Should we bring that up? Let's see if we can bring that up. We got to lighten the mood somehow. So if you're not familiar with who Danny is, Bill has a ventriloquist doll, puppet, whatever you want to call it, and he had it on the show last week. So he sent Josh Bender a link. Let's see if I can find it. About this doll, or this ventriloquist doll that they found. Let me go to it. Just one moment.
Josh sent it to me.
Oh, did he send it to you? Okay. I didn't know what happened there. I just got to go through Messenger and find it. Maybe you sent it to me. Maybe you sent it to me, Bill.
You sent it to me. I sent it to you. You said you've seen it.
Okay.
But, bizarre.
It kind of looks like Danny, don't it?
It does.
Where the hell? I can't find it. Where the hell's the link? That's annoying. Did Josh send you the link? So Josh did send it to me, right?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, he must have, because it must have been yesterday that he sent it to me. Oh, maybe it was in group chat. We have an Interface Death group chat. That's where it was. Yeah, there we go. So here we go, folks. Ventriloquist. Let's see if we can blow this up. Whoa, that's too much. Whoa, no. Ventriloquist doll found in the Rio Grande, Mexico border. So here's some photos. It's wrapped up like it was a discarded body. Right? Like someone's trying to play a prank. Look at this thing.
Yeah.
It was tied up and wrapped up. Like a mummy, like it was a dead body.
Yeah. They burned his ass.
Yeah, so what's the post ventriloquist doll? Yeah, I mean, these comments, I'm sorry to be a buzzkill, but these pictures are clearly staged. That doll wasn't just found, it was placed there. That's what they said. sage it, salt it, douse it in Florida water, light it on fire, salt the ashes, dig a hole, line the hole with brick dust, pour the salted ash into a hole, drive a metal rail spike through the ash into the ground, fill the hole halfway with graveyard dirt mixed with eggshell, cayenne, and fennel, top with more brick dust and dirt, then mark the spot. It's got 187 reactions.
Yeah. That guy there, he knows how to deal with them.
Look, I love the internet. Olympia Williams says, "Fuck! I swear I just unleashed a demon chimera. The first thing I thought was someone made a true Frankenstein's monster. Those are the fingers of multiple dead people." Shake my head, and she's got a photo with all the kinds of pareidolia faces circled in the fire. You gotta be kidding me. This photo's got 241 interactions. This is what's wrong with the internet and people in general. So yeah, that's Danny's lost relative. You said, is that what you said?
Yeah, that's why I gotta buy him a black suit.
Yeah, here. Let's see if you link me a black suit. Let's see if we can pull it up. We'll show everybody the black suit. Here it is. You're gonna drop $30 on that. Oh my god. Well, thanks, Steve. I appreciate that. Justin, you are one of the best when it comes to putting in quantum physics theories and matching them up with paranormal theories. It does not get any better or real than that. Well said, my friend. Yeah, there's definitely people out there that I learn about and read from. My favorite work is done by Stuart Hameroff. He is a anesthesiologist and a professor in psychology and all kinds of stuff, and he developed a theory with Roger Penrose, one of the most well-renowned physicists alive. I mean, Stephen Hawking was his student, okay? And he proposed a theory of how consciousness arises out of waveform collapse, and he just didn't have a organism or a part in the body that would allow for quantum entanglement to happen with these collapses to show how consciousness arises in the human mind. So Stuart Hameroff came together with him and developed the orchestrated objective reduction theory that, Steve, you need to research. It's called objective. Here, I'll type it out. This is what you need to look up, buddy. Can I type? Yeah. Orchestrated objective reduction theory. And I'll Stuart Hameroff and Roger Penrose. I think this is how you spell his name. There. That'll take you down a really, really nicely formed rabbit hole. What else that we got going on here, Missy? Scotty says scratching trees.
Did anybody read the comment Scotty made about the Big Bang Theory?
No, go ahead.
He said, "What about the Big Bang Theory and how that would affect time? If the universe collapses into a tiny spot, then explodes, surely time is reset somehow."
Well, that's what further supports the idea that the block theory exists. The only thing wrong is human perception. That's the illusionary part of it. The Big Bang Theory, exploding. Does it infinitely expand to infinity, or does it eventually collapse down on itself? Well, it depends on what dark energy and dark matter does, and we don't quite understand it. So, well, we absolutely don't understand it. So, we don't know if it'll collapse back in, but the microwave background that we see the radiation from. There's slight variances in temperature and radiation throughout the universe that would suggest there was hotter spots and colder spots. So there you go. You know, if it collapses back down and then expands again, this is what I tell everybody. Everything that's anything and everything that's possible is already happening in an infinite amount of ways. And it's all a probability wave function. And consciousness has an uncanny ability of not only collapsing possibility into reality, but it simulates a linear experience, a subjective linear experience that we can share. And that's what free will is, folks. Free will is God's gift to us. Okay? Consciousness is the greatest gift given. And I know you can probably debate that and argue that, you know, people suffer, bad things happen. But let's face it, the duality that exists in our reality is that how much can you appreciate water unless you don't have water to drink or clean water to drink? If you're floating on a raft out in the middle of the ocean and don't have any water, the mere presence of a cup of drinkable water when it comes to you is the greatest thing ever. But we take it for granted on a daily basis. So that part of psychology and that part of, you know, how we perceive things is why that gives meaning and purpose to our lives. It's a way for the universe to give meaning and purpose to mundane things that can be taken for granted. Like people think, well, my life don't mean shit, I'm just going to kill myself. Well, that's, you know, a breakdown of the understanding of our existence, the meaning of our existence. So if you think for a second that your life doesn't have any meaning, then you are deeply mistaken, you know. But that's free will. You're free to think that and believe that and you take that information and do with what you will. So free will is a motherfucker, and it could kill you, it can set you free, it can make you happy, it can make you sad, it can do all these things. But without all those things being possible, you just can't have the reality that we have. So that's what, you know, that's my guru thing I say to people. I was like, well, why does all these bad things happen to me? It's like, well, you got to know, the only way to know what feels good is what bad feels like. You got to have a duality. You got to have something to compare it to in order to know if it's good or bad. So I think the more you come to terms with that, wrap your head around it and accept that, the easier it is to cope with the things. I mean, it's not going to help you a lot if something like your child dies, your spouse dies. Something like that is infinitely difficult to deal with. And you have to have a very profound and what's the word I'm searching for? The adjective I'm searching for. Solidified spirituality to even get through that without just falling to pieces. So that's why those monks sit up in those temples and detach themselves from all material things of this world, because the more you attach your things to the material of this world, they believe that the more you suffer. So there's a lesson to learn from that. That's what causes hauntings. If you ask Justin Brown what causes hauntings, is the consciousness trying to stay attached to the reality of physical, or the reality of suffering, the attachment to this world. So if you believe that spirits cross over and detach from this world and then don't, that could cause a haunting. That could be a recipe for a haunting. And I do believe that you're faced with that choice. You go through you review your own life. You review whether you're a dirtbag or you're decent or you're better than that. And then you have to make the choice whether you're going to detach yourself from this world, forget everything, or not. So I did, someone did ask about the communication. I think it was Rebecca. If they cross over, do they communicate? Well, it's possible that they do not. But that could be what's going on. What do you guys think? It's a question. I don't know any other better questions to ask to wrap up this show. I mean, Bill, what do you think?
Yeah, I kind of agree with you with the different ways they communicate. You just may not be picking up on it. That's something to try out.
Well, the rabbit hole can get deep, and what I wanted to get into was if you're trying to connect with a deceased family member, their DNA is inside of you right now. And I feel like I'm haunted by my father. Like, I feel like I'm him in a way, and I'm acting out his desires, what he would want to do. It's like a legacy that he is imprinted inside me, like it's haunting me. Like, I want my daughter to be this all-star collegiate softball player, and I want her to be like, a valedictorian, top of her class. It's like this whole legacy that my dad had with me that I wanted to carry on with my daughter. So when I'm going out to the baseball fields, the softball fields, the same park that me and my dad played in, it's a spiritual moment for me. I feel like he's there and he's inside of me, haunting me. And he speaks through my life. He speaks through every bit of essence and every thought that I think. It's connected in the most deepest way anything can be connected. And that is how I talk to my father. That is how I know that there's life after death. It's just not quite how I wanted it to be or how I was led to believe through culture. What the Bible says, what people say, what movies say, what paranormal or what pop culture says, what books say. I mean, sometimes it is a voice, sometimes it is an apparition, sometimes it's not. You know what I mean? What we wish doesn't always happen.
Well, it's like you said, there's a want, and then, you can want it too much. You can want that person to come to you too much. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think when ghosts communicate with you, as spirits communicate to you, it's more about them than it's about you.
Right. Well, it was her mom or her grandma, so, maybe she wants it too bad. Maybe she wants that to happen so much that it's not happening.
I don't know if that's the reason why. But I think what I said, what I think is true. It's more about what their intention are versus your intention. You may have the intention of want to talk to them, but they may not have any intention to talk to you. Maybe they let all this go and crossed over. That's what she was getting at, and I think that's what I felt like she believed, and that is highly possible. Mm-hmm. But I want to end this show with you guys knowing what I believe. I believe that what we define as a soul and the spirit is not clear cut. It's there's a kaleidoscope and spectrum of things that we can leave behind and we connect with. Like, we can haunt multiple locations. We can pick up on an infinite amount of paranormal things that resemble our past loved ones, even ourselves. The soul is not a singular thing. It's not something you can tie down and put in a box and define. Okay? It's not that. And you need to break open that box and see what else is out there. You need to watch shows like this. You need to talk to people that think about this deeply and passionately. You need to think, you need to, just open your mind more and more to the possibilities of what's out there. And the more you do that, the better off you'll be. And never think for a moment that you know the truth about something, because was it Socrates or whoever says, that quoted that, I know that I do not know. Was that Socrates? I know that I know nothing. Let's see how educated I am. I know that I know nothing. Yeah, Socrates. And I think that's one of the best quotes ever to quote. General 7 says, whoops, I need to scroll down.
So we're talking about sensory deprivation and relaxing and concentrating, and from what I got from the...
Right. Yeah, that's definitely a cool thing. You definitely had some strange experiences doing that. Yes, tired, tried tanks, found it annoying, couldn't zone in at all, but I can do anytime I want to, but have to be relaxed, all that, and stay slightly awake, so take a bit. I don't do it often enough.
She also said, true, I do need talk to people about all of this. I don't have people in real life who love these subjects.
In real life, that's you need to get a group together. You need to have a group, and that's how Derek and Missy met me. I was up in front of a crowd of people at an event, talking like I am usually talking about, and they're like, "I want to hang out with that weird motherfucker." It's not because I look great or I'm popular or anything. It's because, we just resonate with each other, and somehow me and Bill Davis resonate in a in a way that's it's very pleasing. He found his way into our little community, and now he can't leave. He's stuck here.
He likes it.
I like it. I'm in my mom's basement.
Are you in your mom's basement?
Yeah, I don't have to wear pants down here. Pack it.
Wow. So yeah, we had a few people hanging in there. We got 12 on YouTube, 8 on Facebook. It started off we had people hanging out, but they found better things to do. But I do appreciate everybody that, watches the show, that, converses and communicates and chats about the things that I can't escape. And I'm constantly thinking about it. And people, know that, and they constantly ask me questions because for some reason they value my opinions on it. And that keeps me going. So keep at it. A fireball, was yours unusual or not? What? Oh, they're talking about the sleep depth stuff, or the
sensory deprivation.
Sensory deprivation. Yeah, we need to do an experiment at a haunted location with that.
I'd do it.
No pants after all. Someone mentioned that earlier. Don't stand up, Bill. Don't stand up.
No. Not for free.
All right, friends. Not for free. Donate right now.
Donate $50 to interfacedeath.net right now, and they'll stand up.
Oh, God, if someone does that, I'm just going to... I don't know what I'll do. I'll take the money and run. All right, folks, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks, Bill, always for adding your spices into the show. Thanks, Missy, for helping me out with chat. You definitely helped me out a lot with it, and without you, I would have been irritated trying to do both. So thank you. And thank you, the viewers and the chatters. I want to go through and for some reason it's not giving me this everybody who shared. It must not have linked up right tonight, but you didn't see any zombies? Yeah, I must not have it set up right in Streamlabs. That sucks. But General 7, Ron A, Fireballs, Scotty Fox, Steve White, thanks for hanging in there. Who else did we have? There's a lot of people on YouTube. I know we had okay. So thank you all. And you can stick around. We play a little bit of ads at the end of the show. But we want to thank our Patreons like we do: Clay Borman, Scotty Fox, Casey Schreiner, Jessica Linus, Paranormal Reporter, a.k.a. Bill Davis, Heather Elliott, Betty Kegley, Kelly McConkey, RJ Murphy, Deadlight LLC, Katie Turner, General 7, Joe Vitale, The Ghost Guild, Cherry Capital Shadow Seekers, and Tony Felosi. Extend your thanks to them. They help keep this content free for everybody to watch, keep it going, and help support all the costs that we have. And that's where I'll leave it. You guys have a great weekend. Like I said, next Wednesday, we're interviewing Daryl Marston, the lead investigator on Ghost Hunters reboot. I've known Daryl way back before he was even a thought in Ghost Hunters. Good friend of mine. Looking forward to meeting him this year at the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash, July 24th through the 27th. We'll have my Paranormal Soapbox on Tuesday, same time, different channel. And we'll be back with Interface Death Weekly, same bat time, same bat channel. You guys are great. We love you. You're always in our thoughts. We'll see you next time.
Back off now. In God's name, back off.
You go back to your bathroom, you stay back there.
I got you. Don't fucking touch me! Fuck! Okay. Leave me the fuck alone! Okay, sweetie. Okay. Open the door, get the door. Open the door, let's get her out of here.
Get the door.
God! Leave me alone! 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 Leave me alone!
Get out of here!
Ow! I can't move my feet! I can't move my feet! In God's name, out of here now!
This is Jason Bland, host of Midwest Paranormal Presents Paranormal Soup, where we stream live as a webcast every Sunday night, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern, with guests who will blow your mind. Live ghost box sessions where you can call into the show to see if the spirits will talk to you, and the World Wide Web of Weird with the latest in paranormal news and evidence. We're bringing the weird every Sunday night, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow and subscribe.